Hey everybody, today we're going to make some old-fashioned tea cakes. I've been doing my videos for you for over 3 years and we have never made any old-fashioned tea cakes. So I have all of my ingredients out. I have my big stand mixer ready to go. My flour and my eggs and my sugar and butter, all that good stuff. And so let's make these old-fashioned tea cakes together. Okay, we are ready to get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is to place 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup of butter, into my mixing bowl. Now, I've let this sit out and get soft, so it should cream really, really well and pretty quickly. But you know, when I cream sugar and butter, I cream it for 10 minutes. All of you know that. So if your recipe says cream, then you want to cream it until it changes color and it becomes fluffy. So I'm starting my mixer. I'm using my paddle today attachment, the paddle attachment, and I'm adding 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to very slowly add this to the butter. I'll turn it up just a little bit. I want you to be able to hear me and see at the same time. So I'm just adding our sugar, and that's 2 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to cream this for 10 minutes, and after I've creamed it, then I'll come back and we'll add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, our butter and sugar has creamed. You can tell that it is fluffy. The color has changed. So now I'm going to add 3 eggs, 1 at a time. I'll turn this up a little bit. This is similar to making a cake, isn't it? And you have all of these ingredients. So that's 3 eggs that we've added to our butter and our sugar. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of clear vanilla. Oh, I smell this good vanilla. This is Miss Merck's clear vanilla. You know, I love it. And so many of you have purchased it from her, and I know she appreciates it. But it's Christanilla. And I use that a lot. In fact, pretty much all the time with my baking. So now we're going to add to our mixture, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. So that's 1 and 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. Amazing, isn't it? If you have a recipe for old-fashioned tea cakes, I wonder if yours calls for buttermilk. So we're just going to mix this. And I'm going to stop it and write down the sides before we start adding our flour. This will take but just a second to do this, and I like to go up under the bottom. Oh y'all, this vanilla, this mixture, I could eat it raw. It looks so, so good. Okay, now we're ready to add our dry ingredients. And let me tell you before we start adding, I have 5 cups of plain, which is all-purpose flour. I sifted it and I measured it. So I have 5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. And I added, once I sifted it, I put it back in my sifter, and I added 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Baking soda. I knew I was going to say powder, but it's baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I re-sifted it, and our dry ingredients are ready to add to our tea cake mixture. So I'm going to use this little measuring cup that I have here. And I'm just going to slowly add it, and I'm going to, my recipe says to stir it in, but I'm just going to stir it with my mixer because this is too hard to stir with your hands. So I'll continue doing this. I'll add all of our flour, and when I get it all added and mixed together, I'll come back and I'll share with you the next step in the process. Okay, we have our flour mixed in, and this is what our tea cake, old-fashioned tea cake batter looks like. So I'm just going to kind of rake this down in my bowl, and now I'm going to cover the bowl and place it in the refrigerator. This needs to stay in the refrigerator for several hours before we roll out our tea cakes and bake them. So I'm just going to cover this, leave it in this bowl just like this. There's no need to take it out, no need to mess up another bowl. And I'll place it in the refrigerator, leave it several hours, and after it chills, and I can get back around to it, to making these tea cakes, rolling them out and baking them, I'll be back and we'll do that part together as well. Okay, our cookie dough has been in the refrigerator for several hours, and it's chilled and it's ready to roll. And I've already started rolling some of our tea cakes, and I have them here on this baking sheet that I have lightly greased with a no-stick cooking spray. So what you want to do is just take some plain all-purpose flour, just as though you were making biscuits or you were making dumplings, and spread it lightly on your pad that you're going to be rolling your tea cakes on. So I like to take mine, and I'm just going to dip some out here. We'll try to make a larger round and cut several at one time. You can cut just 2 or 3, or you can just dip and roll out one at a time if you want to. You don't have to bake all of these at one time. So I'm just going to take a little bit out at the time. I'm going to roll it around in a little flour to kind of get it started, kind of make a little round like that. And then I'll go ahead and press it with my hand. So now I'm going to just take my rolling pin and very lightly start to roll. You want to roll these about 1/4 to 1/8 inch thick. That's how we want to cut. Now you could make, you could put more on your pad if you want to, but I just want to kind of show you how this is done. I like to brush off any excess flour that I have, and the same on the bottom. I'm using a biscuit cutter that is 2.5 inches. I think they come larger, maybe 3.5. You could make them larger. Usually when I think of tea cakes, I think of them as being maybe 3.25. But out of this little bit of dough that I have dipped out and rolled out, I was able to get 3 cookies or 3 tea cakes. So I'm just going to brush off the excess flour on the bottom, and I'm going to place it on my cookie sheet here with the others. So now we'll do, I'll set that right there, and it'll probably fall off. Maybe not. And then I'm just going to put this back in the bowl until I get ready to roll again. So now I'm just lifting it up, brush off any excess flour, and you want to place these on your cookie sheet. Place them about 1 inch apart. I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees. We'll bake these for 7 or 8 minutes, or until they're lightly brown, begin to lightly brown around the outside edges. You just want them brown. You don't want them dark at all. So I'll finish cutting these, rolling these, cutting these. We'll bake them, and then I'll come back and we'll taste them together. We'll look at them and we'll taste them together. Okay, as quickly as that, our first batch of old-fashioned tea cakes are ready to come out of the oven. See, they're just beginning to get brown around the edges. Now, you could put some sugar on top of these if you wanted to before you bake them. I may on the next pan that I put in the oven. You could put colored sugar if you wanted to. That would be pretty. So I'm going to take these out real quickly and put them on a cooling rack. My last batch is ready to go in the oven. In fact, I've got it in the oven. I'm ready to close the door and bake these. And this is, I added some pink sparkling sugar to those on top. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay, we have our old-fashioned tea cakes made. We had 36. That's 3 dozen. That's a lot of tea cakes. But Doug came by and he saw them and he said, Joyce, those look just like tea cakes when I was a little boy. And I said, sweetheart, you just go back in time and enjoy yourself some good old-fashioned tea cakes. So let's try one. I did make some with, and put some little sugar on it. You saw those, and those turned out well. They all turned out well. So now let's try a good old-fashioned tea cake. Look at that. That is so, so good. I'm going to put some of these in the freezer, and I'm going to share some with my neighbors. Thank you for watching. Be sure and share this video. A lot of the younger people won't have this old-fashioned recipe, so make sure that you get it spread out so that everybody can enjoy some good old-fashioned tea cakes. I'll see you again very, very soon.